What is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for Wednesday, August 2nd of 2023. Thank you all so much for your subscription and your viewership. I definitely appreciate it. And let's go ahead and hop right into the astrology for today. Well, we are coming off, of course, that full moon in Aquarius. Definitely a very strong one. For me, it was actually kind of a chill full moon, if you will. I think it's really just one of these things where it's like you're starting to come more and more into different awarenesses and epiphanies on your strengths, your passions, your superpowers, these sort of things. Things that have been blocked from you, things that you have been told that you don't have. I think there's a whole element there too, where it's like there's so many powers, so many abilities that each and every one of us possess, but we have been blocked from our natural birthright. That unfortunately a lot of people just don't ever either discover these things or experience them, or even let alone develop these skills too. But this full moon Aquarius was an opportunity for us to definitely become more aware of these things and to start developing them if we haven't already. But the moon today is in Aquarius. It's going to be finishing up in Aquarius. It's also going to be making that opposition to Venus retrograde in Leo, which kind of almost feels like a second full moon kind of energy, admittedly. Because Venus said she's moving backwards. Mars is definitely getting away from her now. Mars is getting away from just about everyone right now. Moving really fast, because even Mercury is going to be trying to catch up to Mars, but Mercury is going to retrograde in Virgo. So that's the other thing about this, is that like when it comes to all of the energies right now that we're dealing with, the Mars energy, that cardinal fire, raw, masculine generally, protruding energy, warrior-like energy, is the only thing that's really moving forward. It's the only thing that's really getting us through this, because we have a lot of weird energies going on right now, right? We had the yod that Venus was making to Pluto and Neptune for like the better part of like 2 weeks. That's finally loosening up, but that's a weird energy. We have Chiron and the North Node now sitting in Aries. That's been a weird energy. And of course we had, Pluto, which went into Aquarius, which gave us like a little sneak peek into the future, and that moved back into Capricorn, right? And not only that, but Pluto's still squaring the nodes. So we had a lot of weird energy that we're dealing with, right? So the only thing that's really kind of getting us through is to be more Mars-like. Of course, you do have the Sun in Leo, which is definitely giving a nice little boost to this energy too. But of course, the Sun is being challenged. I mean, obviously, you had this full moon. It's being challenged by the fact that it's about to actually hit the degree that Venus will station retrograde at. It'll hit 12 degrees here soon. The Sun is getting ready to square Jupiter. It will, of course, square Uranus at some point too, in the next couple weeks or so. So the only energies that we really have going, I mean, obviously outside of the Sun, is that Mars-like energy to really be like a warrior and to kind of just, this is going to trigger some people, but you have to pick yourself up by the bootstraps and keep on moving. A lot of people get triggered by that too. A lot of people will get triggered by the whole, oh, you just got to pick yourself up by the bootstraps and just deal with it and throw dirt on the wound and keep moving forward. But there is an element to that. There is a way to do that while still acknowledging, our emotions and the way that we feel, and to acknowledge as like, okay, these things have happened. This is the way that I feel about it. How am I going to respond and react accordingly? In a way that, actually increases my vibration, in a way that actually moves me forward in a positive way. Am I going to just let this wound fester and just continue to proliferate and take over my leg to the point where I have to chop my leg off? Because you don't want that. I think that we have to find this balance, right, between recognizing and acknowledging the way that we feel about certain things, recognizing, acknowledging maybe our reactions, our traumas, our triggers, and to also simultaneously to, you know, actually heal them. You know, Chiron is the wounded healer, but some people don't want to actually heal their wounds and want to just let them fester, and they feel like it's going to get them some currency. But I don't care what kind of makeup you put on that wound. It's going to, you're going to, that's the thing about this too, and you could probably feel this right now, is that like some people are just displaying their wounds openly, right? Just displaying them and not really doing anything about it. Not talking about how this thing happened to me, this is what I did about it, and this is what I was able to accomplish and overcome as a result of it. No, people are just like, this is what I got. This is my wound. This is my gaping ass wound on my leg. And instead of actually doing something about it, they just let it fester, and then maggots get in there, and they may try and put makeup on it. They may try and do all these different things to try and make it look like it's like, make it look like okay. But the longer that you wait, the worse and worse and worse that it gets. And then you may have to amputate that fucking leg. Eventually, that's what will happen. But the amputation will be the divine intervention, right? You don't want to get to that point, because no matter how much makeup, no matter how much you try to kind of mock it up to make it look good, it's going to smell bad. It's gonna smell bad, you know? And it's just going to be grotesque to look at, you know? There's an element here with Mars moving forward, and yeah, it's in Virgo, so Mars is despising this North Node in Chiron and Aries, right? And it's in the sign of Virgo, which is like consistent, purposeful action. That's going to be like, I would say like the high vibration of a Mars and Virgo transit. And Mercury is here too, so it's kind of giving a little bit of that element as well. You know, where we're trying to figure some things out too. Mercury's at home, so Mercury is probably one of the strongest planets right now next to the Sun. The Sun, of course, is the strongest planet right now, but Mercury's there too. But Mercury is going to retrograde into space too. So even that aspect, where we can't just rely completely on our mind and rely completely on logic to kind of get us through this time, because even that's about to go through retrograde. Even that's about to go through a recalibration. But Mars is charging forward. There's this element here where it's like, if we take consistent, purposeful action, we will find ourselves moving forward in a super powerful and positive way. Now, I think the thing is that we want it to look grand. We want it to look shiny, right? Venus and Leo retrograde. We want it to look grand. We want it to look shiny. We want it to look beautiful. We want it to look magnanimous. We want it to look opulent. We want it to look like, well, if I've been doing this thing consistently, how come the results aren't necessarily matching? It's like maybe the effort that you're putting in is like this, and maybe the results are right here. And there's like that disconnect, right? There's that disconnect between all of the effort that you're putting in and then the results just don't seem like they're coming. But here's the thing about results. It starts kind of slow like this. It starts kind of slow like this, but it does steadily go up. It does steadily go up. And then there will be that point where you seemingly go viral in this, and then it shoots up. But, and that's the thing about it, this is not overnight celebrity kind of energy. But people want overnight celebrity kind of energy, right? The Sun's in Leo, Venus is in Leo retrograde, right? We had a taste of Pluto going into Aquarius, right? We have Jupiter in Taurus. We have Uranus in Taurus. This is not overnight celebrity kind of energy. This is the kind of energy where you kind of get, this is grinding energy. Like you grind it out. But you have to ask yourself, what is worth the grind? That's what Jupiter and Uranus is asking, especially Jupiter, you know, and the Sun is going to get ready to square Jupiter here in the next few days, right? So it's like, you have to ask yourself, what is worth the grind? What passions, what creativity is worth the grind? Now, some of you, like, I think there's an element where we all are probably grinding in areas where we don't feel like it's really giving back to us. We feel like we're not really being our authentic self. Maybe we're not in a place that really matches our vibration or what we're going to. Maybe it doesn't match our divine calling and stuff. Maybe we're having to do this to get by. You know what I'm saying? Maybe there are elements within that thing that you're participating in. Maybe it's a job or relationship. Maybe there are elements within it that do match your vibration, that do match where you're trying to go, what you're trying to evolve into, but some things may not be there, right? This doesn't mean that we need to throw out the baby with the bathwater and that we need to just throw the whole relationship away or throw the whole job away or throw the whole whatever away. We can alter our perspective on this, but we still have to be honest and ask ourselves, what is worth the grind? What is worth the daily grind energy, right? Jupiter in Taurus is seriously like it is in many ways, it is the farmer right now, right? So it may not look exciting, but like I said, a lot of exciting things can happen on a farm. It just may not look, instead of loud music in a club and like freaking hookers sitting on the corners of the street, and then like, just weird gang activity happening in the city and bright lights and all this sort of stuff and concerts. It's, oh shoot, freaking, some of the cows got out, freaking a freaking coyote came and grabbed some of the cows or whatever like that, or some of the sheep, and oh crap, the sheep actually beat up the coyote. Like, we weren't expecting that. Or like the freaking, like maybe something got into the chicken coop and the rooster like just viciously attacked the thing. That's the thing about roosters too. Like, that's one thing. Like, roosters will like viciously attack and protect their hens. Like, they will, like, if anything comes up against their hens, it doesn't matter how big it is. It doesn't matter if it's a rat. It doesn't matter if it's a wolf, a bear. It doesn't matter. Those roosters will viciously attack whatever opposition it is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't care about how big it is. It doesn't care about what its size is. It will viciously attack it if it tries to harm its hens. That's the kind of energy that we need. That is the kind of energy that we need, where it's like you have like this big boss that's just standing and looming over you that has this power and this power up and this weapon and this, and you seemingly don't really have much, but you charge in because you have the confidence and you have the bravery to move in and challenge it regardless of where you currently are. I don't normally do this with this thing. I don't normally do this because I think that this is annoying. But maybe this will wake you up and make you realize just how powerful you are. Snap out of it. You have everything that you need. You have it right now already. You have the tools. You've been working on these things. You have the abilities. Now it is time to apply that consistent, purposeful action to really take it to the next level. That moon in Aquarius, which is going to oppose Venus today, is definitely going to be a bit of a challenge, because we're going to be seeing things like, well, we want things to be shiny, and there's going to be this element where it's like, oh, if it's not shiny, maybe I'll just detach from it a little bit emotionally. I think that's the other thing. Maybe we'll detach a little bit emotionally. Or we'll just like kind of create this sort of illusion in our head and make something shiny that really isn't shiny. I was like, oh, well, if it's not shiny, if it's not beautiful, if it doesn't look exactly the way I want, then I'm just going to emotionally detach from it. It's like, no, just acknowledge where you are. Acknowledge what it is. Maybe this is about appreciating the beauty that is there. Maybe this is about not falling for any preconceived notions of what society thinks should be beautiful. This is kind of like a beauty is in the eye of the beholder kind of energy, if you will. But like I said, Venus in Leo also is the energy that does go for tens and nothing less. And that will trigger a lot of people. That'll trigger a lot of people that will be like, well, beauty's on the inside and stuff. Venus is Leo's like, yeah, but I mean, shoot. Like, if they're not physically beautiful, then shoot. If they don't just give off that opulence and that royal kind of energy, and that confidence and knowing that they are bright and that they shine, then Venus and Leo are going to have it. You know? That's going to trigger some people, right? So the moon opposing this energy is going to be like, man, it's like some people are going to want to detach from that. Right? You know what I'm saying? So like, some people are going to want to be like, oh, I don't know if I really vibe with that. You know? And they may go off into some weird alien out there world. Yeah, remember, like, we don't have any other Aquarius energy besides the moon. Saturn is going to retrograde back to like 0 degrees of Pisces, but it's not going to go quite back in. So we don't really have a lot of Aquarius energy, but what we do have is all this Leo energy. Sun, Venus, Lilith, and of course we have the fire energy, Chiron, North Node, and we have a lot of Earth energy, Pluto, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Uranus. Mostly fire and earth right now, right? So there's a grounding element to this, but there's also a creative element to this. This is not necessarily a thing where we have to, there's not necessarily a lot of energy to like kind of think our way out of this right now. Because even the planet of like, thoughts or whatever like that, Mercury, is in an earth sign of Virgo, which is a mutable earth sign, and it's going to go retrograde soon. Other than that, as far as water energy, we don't have any Cancer energy. We don't have any Scorpio energy. All we have is Saturn and Neptune retrograde in Pisces. So even our intuition not necessarily intuition, but even that is like, we have to like really be able to like crawl through and sift through a lot of the illusion to try and find some truth here. All of the illusion of what's being presented to us. We have to sift through all that to try and figure what's going on. There's like, we are surrounded by Oz's. We are surrounded by Oz's, and people are too afraid to lift that curtain and see the man behind the curtain, the woman behind the curtain, or the alien behind the curtain, the entity behind the curtain. The angel, the demon, these higher principalities behind the curtain. People are afraid to peel it back. So yeah, when you're dealing with a bunch of earth and fire energy, like I said, it's a grounding energy, but it's also introduces a fire element. Volcanoes, new land masses, right? And the fire, when the fire erupts from the ocean and stuff like that, it starts to create new land, and then it creates steam as well. So things can feel a little steamy right now. You know? That's the other aspect of this. It can feel a little steamy right now. You can start to feel it's like percolating. It's a little hot. But what's interesting is that it does feel slow, right? Islands take time to build. They take time to build. It's not something that's going to be fast. We want quick, fast energy. Things are slowing down. The only thing that's moving fast is freaking Mars. Outside of the sun and the moon, that's the only thing that's really moving fast. So there's definitely this element where we really do have to ask ourselves, what consistent, purposeful action can I take today that's going to bring me to a place where I acknowledge and recognize my superhero, supernatural qualities, and how I can take those and affect uplifting change in this world. Because that's the thing about this. This moon opposed Venus is going to have some people lose their faith in humanity even more and more and more. And I really do need to talk about this Venus and Leo and more in depth about it. I really do need to do that. I'll probably would do that once I get back to like my normal office and stuff like that too. Oh, and then another tidbit too, as far as like the August tarot reports, I'm going to be doing that later this week. I'm probably going to actually, I was thinking about putting it all in one video and then just having it time-stamped, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm thinking about putting it all in one video and then time-stamping it. So And that's the other thing about this too, is that we have to be willing to be creative and to change things. Like the last time, for this past month, for July, I separated them out. This month, I'm probably going to put it all in one video, you know. And I think sometimes we have to think like, well, the consistent action has to look the same every single time. Like, no, not necessarily. You just have to take the consistent action, right? Maybe, or let's just say you're writing a book, right? Maybe one day you spend 30 minutes. One day you spend an hour. Maybe one day you spend 5 minutes. But so long as you take that action, that's what counts. Or like, say, like, let's take another example for me, like exercising, working out at the gym, right? I try to get to the gym at least 2 to 3 times a week. At the very least, I prefer it to be like 3 to 4 times a week, maybe even 5. But I gotta give my body some time to rest. I'm not doing the same exercises every day. I'm mixing it up. I'm not at this gym the same time. I'm generally there around like an hour or so. You know what I mean? But I mix it up. I don't necessarily like if it's like leg day, I don't do just legs. I do primarily legs, and I might mix in some other stuff, right? But consistent action is what it takes. And that's like a really good example too. Exercising, like if you're wanting to like lose weight, that's a really good example of things take time. It's not going to just happen overnight. For most people, it's not going to happen overnight, unless you want like these like method actors that have like they maybe had the time and they have like the trainers to help them like really sculpt their body really really fast for whatever role that they're about to do. But for the vast majority of us, we just simply don't have that, right? Things take time. It's going to be a slow build and increase. But because we've been so conditioned to want things quick, fast, immediate dopamine hits, we can't really see the beauty of what we're building here. So, let's get into the cards, shall we? Let's see what we got going on. Let's see what we got going on. All right. First card we actually have the Star card. We have the Star card in reverse. Let's see if they all end up being reversed. We got the Three of Swords again. I pulled this earlier this week. And then we also have the Queen of Pentacles, actually. The Queen of Pentacles as well. This is the only one that's upright. Three of Swords in reverse, the Star card in reverse. Oh yeah, so this is definitely talking about like, if there's a dream that you have that you thought was dead, is actually technically not dead. That's really what this is about. You're wishing on a star, and maybe you wished on stars in the past, and you received some sort of heartbreak about this star, about this wish, if you will. These energies are reversed, so this can be like, okay, some stars that we wished on, and if it didn't work out, and we're still kind of holding on to the energy, we gotta let that energy go. That could be part of it. That could be a way that's manifest, or your dream isn't actually dead. It's just something that you actually have to work on a little bit more. You have to work on it a little bit more. That's the thing about this. The Queen of Pentacles, she knows her value. She knows her value. You know what I'm saying? This is definitely an element where it's like, when we know our value, when we know our truth, when we know what we are, when we know what we bring to the table, we don't have to really worry about anything. Even if you go through maybe some slow periods in life, there's going to be slow periods in life and fast periods in life. Ironically, my dad's like a perfect example of this with his job. With his business, there are slow periods in the month, there are slow periods in the year, and then there are fast periods in the year. There are periods in the year where he has like 3-4 parties in one weekend that he's doing at the banquet facility, and then there are weekends where he has maybe one. There's some where he might not have any. There may be back-to-back weekends where he doesn't have any. He ain't tripping about it. He ain't tripping about it. Like, oh my God, I need to have something every single weekend. It needs to look this way every single freaking time. It's ironic because he's a Virgo too. But it's like, it doesn't have to be. If you know your worth and you know your value, then you know it'll come to you. That's what it comes down to. So stop wishing on stars. Stop wishing on stars. Stop focusing on the heartbreak of wishing all the stars and it not coming true immediately. You gotta understand, we gotta go off of the divine timing of the universe. We're flipping quarters into a fountain, thinking that things are gonna happen immediately, but things take time to develop. That's off of our human time. And here's the interesting thing about it: our lives are but a fraction of a snap in the grand scheme of things. So we may wish on a star, and it will be granted immediately in those realms. In those realms, it'll be granted immediately. It just takes time to percolate down here, seemingly to us, because our lives are so fast in the grand scheme of things, you know. So we have to go off of the divine timing of the universe, not our own timing. It's the Five of Wands. This is how I know that whatever it is, it's kind of petty. You know, it's the Five of Wands. This whatever this star card and this Five of Swords reverse thing is, it can be resolved too. I think that's the other thing about this, is that if this was like the Seven of Swords, if this was like an Eight of Cups, if this was something like that, you know what I mean? If it's like a Ten of Swords, something like that, I would say that this wouldn't be really resolvable. But I think that this is very much so resolvable, and I'm feeling this is more so to deal with relationships, if anything. Whatever maybe the Three of Swords might be. I feel like the Three of Swords is going to be probably more so relationships, and the Star card is more so like career and purpose. But whatever it is, it's not as big as you think it is. It's kind of like a simple little fight. It's a simple little battle. It's not really that big a deal. You're not battling a gym leader. You're not battling the Elite Four. It's just a trainer that you happen to come across. And maybe this trainer beats you. Maybe you came across a basic trainer on the path of becoming a Pokemon champion, and they actually beat you. And maybe you feel a little embarrassed by it. It's like, yo, I'm not supposed to be losing to you. If I'm supposed to be losing to anyone, it's like a gym leader or an Elite Four member. And it's like, no, there's some good trainers out here as well. Sometimes we get humbled. Sometimes we get bodied, you know, by basic stuff. And that's okay. That's okay. Allow these things to kind of happen. Allow these things to happen. I mean, don't just go out and start just losing to these trainers on purpose. But like, if it happens, it happens. Move on. Know your value. Know your worth. Go back to the drawing board. Work on it. Get stronger. You're here. You're breathing. You're alive. You're a miracle. Embrace the miracle that you are. That is going to do it for your astrology forecast today. I hope that you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. And if you'd like a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below to my website, jphoenix.com. And as always, y'all take care, stay blessed. I will see y'all in the next video. Peace out.